Hi, everyone. Welcome to Intuitive Eating Tips with Taylor. My name is Taylor, and I'm a non diet registered dietitian. And with the help of intuitive eating, I teach women how to create guilt free eating habits with confidence and ease. And for today's intuitive eating tip with Taylor, I am going to talk all about one of the principles of intuitive eating known as joyful movement. And really, what I want to talk about with that is how you can make movement or quote unquote exercise. I like to call it movement because it sounds just a little bit better and not as icky as exercise can sound sometimes. Um, and I want to talk about how you can make movement more joyful in your own life. So today I'm only going to talk about three things that you can do to make joyful movement a part of your life. But just know there is probably a very long list of things that you can do and work on to do this. But again, today I'm just going to talk about three. So, one of the first things that you can do to make movement a more joyful part of your life is to stop putting pressure on yourself to make that movement or exercise a certain amount of time. So, a lot of times we feel like exercise should be, 30 minutes or 60 minutes or if it doesn't, if it's not an hour, it doesn't count type of thing. I'm guilty of this. I definitely used to feel this way too. But what I was not really realizing was that it didn't matter how long I did the exercise. It really just mattered that I did it and I felt kind of the benefits from it afterwards. Um, and when I turned that mindset around from, exercise or joyful movement has to be a certain length of time to it can be 5 minutes or it can be 10 minutes or it can be 30 minutes if I want and I have the time, but the point is, I'm doing it and it's making me feel better. And I know long term, this is it, it's adding up and it's helping regardless of how long I do it for. Um, and so again, so stop putting that pressure on yourself to make it a certain amount of time because you're more likely to do it or you're more likely to do 5 minutes of it, which and then can turn, like I said, to 10 minutes, to 20 minutes, to 30 minutes down the road. Um, so again, just be realistic and do the certain amount that you can do if it's something you want to do and you want to include in your day, even if it's 5 minutes of stretching, jumping jacks, taking a walk around the block, or whatever it may be. It matters and it counts. So again, first thing you need to do is just stop putting that pressure on yourself to make that joyful movement a certain amount of time in order to make that movement more joyful. Okay, so the second thing to do in order to make movement a more joyful part of your life is to make sure that you do give yourself rest days. So I know this can be really hard for some people because maybe you feel like if you're giving yourself a rest day, then you will get out of your flow, and maybe that'll make you stop going altogether. Maybe you fear that you are going to gain weight all of a sudden just because you miss a day. Maybe maybe you're just someone that wants to go every day and you feel like you're a bad person if you don't. Maybe you put this pressure on yourself to go to the gym or work out every day. Um, but the reality is our bodies need rest. They need chance to recharge, and your body is going to thank you and feel so much better for it, but just by getting, a day or two of rest in between the workouts that you do. Um, and again, it'll recharge you, it'll refresh you. You'll be more excited to go back and do it, the next day or the next couple days, whenever you can do it again. Because you haven't made yourself do it every single day. It'll sound much more appealing to you because of that. So, second thing is make sure you give yourself some rest days. Third, the last thing I'm going to talk about is focus on the long-term benefits and how that exercise or joyful movement is making you feel versus hoping that it'll change the way you look, or only doing it because you're hoping it'll change the way you look. So when we focus solely on weight or weight change when it comes to exercise and we don't see the results that we want all the time, or we see the results, but then the results change because we stop going as frequently or whatever it may be, it doesn't make us want to go back and do it because it doesn't feel sustainable. Um, And so focusing on how you're feeling from the movement. So maybe you're having a clearer head to go back and do some work. Maybe you're more focused and able to get the things that you want done a little bit faster because you're able to focus more because you went and, did your joyful movement. Long term, it's going to improve your cardiovascular health, or it's going to improve your or decrease your risk for cancer or type 2 diabetes or something like that. Or maybe it's going to give you improved flexibility or endurance, or all these things that you can focus on that exercise is going to get you the benefits of, that don't involve your weight and don't have to revolve around it. And so again, just focusing on the long-term benefits and how you're feeling from the exercise versus how it can change your body can bring a lot more joy into the movement you're doing. It won't be a punishment. It won't be something you have to do to make up for something you ate. It will just be something you want to do because it makes you feel good, brings you a little bit more joy into your life, and long term, it is going to benefit your health. So there you have it. There are 3 things you can do to make movement a lot more joyful in your life. So again, just to recap, number 1, don't put the pressure on yourself to do a certain amount of time for your workouts. Make sure you're giving yourself some rest days. And lastly, focus on how the movement is making you feel versus how it can change your body. Let me know what you think of this video in the chat or the comments below. Let me know if there's anything that you focus on to help bring more joyful movement in your life. We'd love to hear it. We'd love more ideas. And again, you can put that right in the comments below. And I will see you again for the next Intuitive Eating Tips with Taylor.